Hey guys, I'm back with yet another DIY video to share, and today's video is going to be focusing on lip scrubs. I did try out so many different kinds of lip scrubs that I've decided to do a two-part video. I won't share the other one until next year, but the first three I'm going to share with you are all sort of winter themed. I thought, since it's sort of gift giving season, I thought it would be a nice maybe stocking stuffer or add-on present. To give a little pot of lip scrub or something like that to someone. And these are generally more winter flavors. There is one that's more unisex / all time in case you have someone who you're not sure what they like or anything like that. One thing to note is that because this recipe, just like all of my homemade recipes, is all natural, it's not going to last very long. And I would definitely refrigerate it and use it up within 1 to 2 weeks if possible, especially if you're going to be dipping your finger into it, because that's not really sanitary. So before we get started, I just want to let you know what the base ingredients and recipe is. Pretty much all three of these that I'm going to share with you share the same basic lip scrub recipe. The basic recipe includes sugar. I'll be using white sugar, which has a finer grain than brown sugar, but you're free to use brown sugar if you like a deeper exfoliation, like a more rough exfoliation. And I'll be using oil. This is avocado oil, but pretty much any sort of edible cooking oil would do. Olive oil is fine. Coconut oil is also good. And it's just going to be 1 part of each of these. There's also another basic recipe which I do use, and that formula is 2 parts sugar and 1 part honey. That creates a more viscous kind of scrub that sticks on your lips, because the one with the oil is a little bit more moisturizing and oily and smooth. So the three that I'm going to share with you guys today are, starting with the very most basic one, cinnamon sugar lip scrub. And I've tried all of these out and tested them, and they all taste so good, especially the ones that are a little bit like foodie type ones. Cinnamon sugar tastes fantastic if you like cinnamon. I'm also going to be sharing a rosemary mint one. It's not really seasonal, that flavor, but it's good for all purpose, I guess you could say. And the last one is a little bit more unique. It's definitely very Christmassy, and that is orange, clove, and honey. And you can substitute cinnamon for the clove if you don't like cloves. Alright, so if you're interested in making these 3 lip scrubs, go ahead and grab your sugar, your honey, and your oil, and let's get started. For the cinnamon sugar lip scrub, you'll need 1 part sugar, 1 part oil, and either half or 1 part of ground cinnamon, depending on your taste for cinnamon. And now mix all the ingredients together and you'll have the scrub. This is what the texture of the cinnamon sugar lip scrub looks like when you spread it on your skin. Next up is the rosemary mint lip scrub. Like I said earlier, a lot of the recipes that I made use the same base. So you'll need sugar, oil, peppermint essential oil, and either rosemary essential oil, dried rosemary, or fresh rosemary. I happen to have fresh rosemary on hand, so that's what I used here. As you can see here, I used a teaspoon to measure my units of sugar and oil. So following that logic, I only used 1 drop of peppermint essential oil, because any more and I think it would have been too much for my skin, especially the lips, which are really sensitive to peppermint oils and generally essential oils. If you decide to make a larger batch though, you might need to add more peppermint essential oil. Just make sure to test it as you go along on your lips or on your skin. And here I am adding the rosemary. Whatever you feel like adding is great. I just added 1 leaf. If you use dried rosemary, you might need to use a lot more than I'm using here. And if you choose to use rosemary essential oil, make sure to test it on your skin as you go along. Last is the orange, clove, and honey lip scrub. This one's a little different from the last 2 in that it doesn't use any oil. Instead of using oil, I use honey here. And like I said earlier, if you don't like cloves, you can use cinnamon instead. And if you don't have orange essential oil on hand, you can squeeze a little bit of oil from an orange rind or even use orange juice. But be sure to refrigerate it and use it up really quickly, because it is a food and it doesn't have any preservatives, and it'll probably go bad pretty quickly. So I'm using 1 part sugar and half part honey. If you use any more than half part honey, it'll be way too sticky and difficult to spread on your lips, as you'll see later. Now I'm adding the orange essential oil. You can add 1 or 2 drops depending on how orangey you want it to be. If you're using orange juice, make sure just to put a few drops because otherwise the sugar might melt completely. Into that, I'm just adding a pinch of ground cloves. And mix it all together. It might start to stick together like mine is doing here. And as you can tell, it's pretty sticky. This was my favorite recipe of all because it had the most flavor. So those are the recipes, and I hope they were something that you're interested in. I'll be posting the recipes on my blog, so you can follow along more easily there if you want to print it out or copy it down or something. And if you have any questions about anything, or you have your own recipes that you like to make, or different combinations, feel free to share it down below. I'm definitely interested in hearing about that. For these, I did use a mix of the actual herb and the essential oils. For example, I used orange essential oil. But if you don't have that and you want to use fresh orange juice or maybe orange juice from juice box, that's fine too. But bear in mind that essential oil probably would keep a little bit longer than one like with juice in it, so definitely refrigerate and use it up as quickly as possible. I also use fresh rosemary, but you can definitely substitute essential oil in place of the fresh herbs, or if you don't like some of the herbs, go ahead and use ones that you do like. Just make sure you're not allergic to it and that you can eat it, because this is going on your lips and you will inevitably eat it. And you can eat it, actually. It would taste really good. So thank you for watching this video and for subscribing, and I will see you guys next time. Happy belated Thanksgiving if you're American, and if you're Canadian too, but then I'm really late. Alright, bye guys.